My guest today is a graphic and surface designer with a background in advertising, which lends itself so well to being a quilter and pattern lover. She's known for her soft color palette, very pretty details, and joyful storytelling in her fabric designs. From sewing quilted accessories for her children and starting her brand called Pretty Please to designing multiple collections for Andover Fabrics, she's built a creative business inspired by her family culture in Mexico City and her love of nature. And if you love pretty fabrics, you'll find yourself lost in her Instagram feed, so grab a cup of tea. Today, I'll have a chat with Stephanie Organes. Hello, and welcome to the Quilter on Fire podcast. I'm Brandy Maslowski, a former firefighter turned quilt professional. As a quilt teacher, speaker, and judge, I travel the globe to bring quilters more joy and less overwhelm. Not too long ago, the quilty life I now lead was just a dream. After many lessons and a lot of hard work, I've transitioned from juggling a day job and a quilting business on the side to becoming a full-time quiltpreneur. I started the Quilter on Fire podcast to create a vibrant community of quilters, artists, and makers. Each episode brings you inspiring stories, insights, and the pure joy of guests from all over the world. If their stories uplift you and spark joy, you're in the right place. Let's dive in and ignite that creative fire within you. My guest today is Stephanie Organes, the artist and designer behind Pretty Please and a fabric designer for Andover Fabrics. Stephanie is known for her soft, feminine style, her joyful use of color, and fabric collections that feel both elegant and playful. Her work is inspired by nature, beauty, and her Mexican heritage, and many quilters know her through her Andover collections, including Wandering, Enchanted Bloom, Color Me Pretty, and more. Her designs and collaborations have been featured across the quilting industry, including work with Missouri Star Quilt Company, Patterns by Annie, and the What Women Create magazine. At the heart of it all, Stephanie's goal is simple: to bring more beauty, joy, and meaning into everyday creative life. So let's explore the story of Stephanie Organes. Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Brandy. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled. I'm super happy to be here.
I have wanted to have you on the podcast for a very long time. I see you at the shows and we always have such a lovely conversation. And then I come back to QuiltCon and I say, oh my gosh, I wanted to have you last year and the year before. So I'm so glad that you're finally here. I've finally got my act together and I've got you on the podcast.
Thank you, Brandy. Thank you for having me. And yeah, it's always fun to see you at the shows. And yeah, we're always like, we're going to talk and see you.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun.
We're finally here.
We're finally here. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you because your fabric designs are gorgeous and you are just coming out with one after another. I can't wait to talk all about them. So I like to get started by taking a look back at where you got started. So when do you first remember putting stitch to fabric?
Well, my first time was when my first daughter was born. That's when I started sewing because, well, after a few months as she was born, like I needed this creative outlet again. So there's like a local quilt shop near where I used to live. And I walk every time, like I pass by, but I was always so intimidated by it. Like I remember my mom, she was very good at sewing. She did like all or customs and things like that and dresses. But for me, I don't know why it was very intimidating. Like I remember like threading the sewing machine for me was like super difficult. I don't know why, but I just couldn't. And yeah, and I went to this quilt shop named Quilter. And they were super friendly. Lily, that now is one of my best friends in my guild. She taught me everything, like her and her team. And that's when I started sewing. I did, like at first, I just wanted to make bags because she had different bags hanging all over. And she was like, no, little by little, you have to do, like start with simple projects. So we did like a quilted bear. So we first like did like a small quilt and then we cut it out with templates and did like a stuffed teddy bear. Yeah. So that was the first time that I started sewing. And for me, it was like, wow, like it opened a new world that I never knew it existed for me.
Yeah. So early on in your life as a child, did you have a lot of creative, people encouraging you to do arts and crafts and things like that?
Yes, yes. My mom, like my mom, she has always been very creative. She loved to paint. Like she did fashion merchandising, landscaping. She was always doing like the trend that was at that moment, like when it was painting tricam. Remember when they used to
Yeah.
paint like blouses and things like that? And also she also embroidery and doing dresses, and she did stained glass and so many things. So she was always like she let me create. Like I remember myself always drawing and having like box and boxes of crayons. Like I love Crayola. Like for me,
Yeah.
it comes back so many memories from my childhood. So yeah, like since I was little, I was always drawing, and yeah, I think it comes from my mom because she always was very like she let me do watercolor and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it comes from her.
Yeah. So you mentioned your early beginnings in quilting where you fell in love with the people at the quilt shop and they started inspiring you. You wanted to make bags, but they encouraged you to make the teddy bear first. But what was your first quilt?
I think my first quilt was for my daughter. Yeah, that was like my first finished quilt. It took a while, but that was my first like actually quilt that I finished because I
Was it one
started
of,
doing all kinds of bags.
yeah, was it one of those projects that you were like, okay, I'm going to make this for my daughter, but then all of a sudden she's 3 years old and you're still finishing it?
Exactly, kind of. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was made with a jelly roll and it was all strips.
Yeah.
And yeah, I finished the top. And I remember I finished the quilting while we were at COVID. That I did like quilt as you go, like I quilt every block.
Yeah.
Like I had the top finished before, but I didn't quilt it. So that
Yeah.
was the time when I finished it. But yeah.
Okay, so you started quilting. You were already a mom when you started quilting. So let's just take a step back a little bit to your earlier creativity because you had an education and career before quilting that was very creative in graphic design. So tell us about that path.
Yes, I studied in here in Mexico, in Guadalajara. I used to live in Guadalajara. That's my hometown. And I studied graphic design. And from there, when I graduated, well, no, before I graduated, like when I finished high school, I went to study abroad for 1 year to Italy, to Florence. So when I was there, I studied Italian and art history and some drawing and painting classes. And when I moved to Italy, I was between studying marketing and graphic design. So that's when I decided, I was like, no, what I'm going to do in marketing, like graphic design is for me, like being in Italy, like it opened my eyes for all the art and the creativity. And I was like, no, 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 I need to study design. So yeah, I went back to Guadalajara. I studied graphic design. And when I was in university, I took a year off and a summer as well. And I studied in London. Also illustration and graphic design. So, and yeah, and then I went back to Guadalajara. I finished my career. I graduated, and then I moved to Mexico City. So yeah, I've like that's the thing that I love, like all about design. And when I moved here to Mexico City, I started working in advertising, and then also doing packaging design for different companies. So yeah, I've been always around design and advertising. So
Yeah,
that's
and that kind of a history and education really lends itself well to fabric design, right? So
yes.
we're gonna get into the fabric design
Uh-huh.
story coming up very soon. But how did your love for quilting grow and blossom? Were you immediately hooked once you found out about the quilt shop and met those lovely people? And did you just go crazy from there?
Yeah, like from there, like the sewing, it changed me because for me it was very therapeutic. Like I really enjoy it, and it opens like first when I started, I started doing like small pouches and bags, and what I really enjoyed was like getting like all this beautiful fabric. But I got to go to that was my first QuiltCon in Pasadena, and I was there just for a couple of days. It was my first time. Like I didn't know anyone. And so at the end, I just signed up for one class that I don't even remember what was it. It was something about quilting, but I was like, I could never do a quilt. Like for me, it was not even been in my mind that I was going to do a quilt, because I was very interested about doing like small projects that I could achieve. And I don't know, for me, a quilt was like a huge milestone. I was like, so, but going to that QuiltCon opened my eyes, because that's when I saw like all the different vendors, all the beautiful fabric, and all this, from super contemporary, more traditional, like, but QuiltCon, it's very modern. So at the end, I was like shocked. I was like, oh my God, there's so many fabrics. So I was buying so many fabrics. And I remember a lady that she came to me, and she saw me. I was carrying all these balls, and I was alone in the show. I didn't know anyone. And she saw my excitement, and she was like, I hope, no, she told me, I want to give you an advice. And it's, don't let your fabric sit like in your cupboard for 20 years. Like, use it. So I was like, first I was like, I will never let it sit, because I was so excited. Now I realize what she said, because we get so excited and we have so many fabrics that, I mean, I think I will never finish it all. But that was like a highlight for me. And from there, when I came back, like, I got all these fabrics, and that's when I started sewing all this pouches and diaper bags. That's when I created my brand, because I started doing it first for gifts. Because, well, here in Mexico, I was going to these classes with my kids. I had just one back then, my first one, my daughter. And so I had like a pouch with a change of clothes, another one with bottles. And so I create like the whole kit, and my friends love it. So since then I started selling them and personalize them, like adding monograms or the letters of the babies and things like that. So I started like that, like doing quilted things for babies. But this QuiltCon like really opened my eyes, because what I really enjoyed was seeing the fabric, like all the patterns and the prints. I was like, oh my God, like that's and also like for paper crafts, like I also, like if I see a print in a beautiful notebook, I buy it. It's like I'm always drawn to patterns. So that was very eye-opening for me, the first QuiltCon.
So you are home with a new baby. You go to QuiltCon for the first time. You buy all this fabric, and you're already inspired by the quilt shop. So you start Pretty Please, which is your business. And so in that business, were you selling quilted bags and things like that?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I started selling, like all the quilted bags, diaper bags, and I started selling them, like in Christmas bazaars, and and to my friends. Like, because like all my friends we were having babies at the same time, so they always have like a gift to give to someone else, so they recommended me. So that's how I started, and that was the only thing that I was selling, not quilts. Just everything, like accessories for your kids, for your diaper bags, to organize all their things.
Yeah, and you mentioned to me earlier in a conversation that you were doing that for a while, but then the pandemic hit, and you made a big shift during the pandemic. So what happened there?
Exactly. Well, there was a pandemic. I already had my second son, Carlitos. And and during the pandemic, we were, well, as we all were in our house, I started, like, I remember my husband always told me, I remember you, like the sound of the machine, like all that sewing. Like, that's what I did. Like, I put my kids to bed, and I was sewing during the night all the time. And when I was at the pandemic, that's when I have this shift about like trying to pursue fabric design as a career. And because also I was not well, before the pandemic, when I didn't mention this, but before my daughter was born, we moved to the US because my husband, he was studying an MBA. So when we came back, I didn't want to go back to advertising because of the schedule, and my husband also had crazy hours. So I was not working in that. So then when the pandemic hit, that was like I was like trying to figure out that what I wanted to do again for my career. And so that's when I started to work towards the goal of becoming a fabric designer. Like I always loved to draw and to paint, more drawing than painting. But yeah, that was something because I saw these fabrics and I was like, no, I want to have my own. Like, so it was really fun to start creating my portfolio. And also, I had a medical issue during the pandemic that I have to be 1 month. I had like a serious thrombosis, so I was 1 month recovering at home. So and my kids went with my in-laws, and so I could recover. So it was just my husband and me. And from there, I think that also switched. Like it was for me, it was another opportunity in life to start doing what you really want. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, there's nothing else to lose. No, like I had like this great opportunity to be healthy, to do. So that's when I started drawing and doing different courses, and it was really good because it, like my creativity started flowing, and also that's when I learned that spoon flower existed. So I started sending all my designs, not to sell them, just to print them. So I started printing samples of the collections that I was working on, and it was amazing when I received my first samples. Because it's the first time that you get to see your designs on fabric, and that's when you see, now the scale is off, or like, so that was really helpful because I printed all the designs, and from there I did different projects, and that was really good for my portfolio because it's not that you just send just like the prints, you have actually quilted projects for people to see how your fabric works, and so that was really great.
So
that's how it started.
Well, it almost seems like, the pandemic hit and you had an illness, and it's almost like all of that happening at once gave you permission to just go and do something new that you might not have otherwise done, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you started to think about, okay, I want to do this design, I'm getting my portfolio together, where did you go from there? Did you start, pitching to companies?
Yeah, well, when I had my portfolio ready, I was doing lots and lots of patterns, of prints. And that's when I started knocking on doors, sending my portfolio to different companies. And also I went to New York because my sister, she lives in New York. And I took my sister at the end took it because it was still at the end of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I took my physical portfolio and send it to Andover because they are there. And I think also that makes the difference when you get not just an email. I was like, I'm here. So I send like a printed copy and everything. And my sister at the end, she sent it to them. And I'm sending emails and it led at the end, they like it. First, they didn't respond. And I was like, oh my God, I got contacted by another company, but I was still waiting to see if Andover was going to respond. And I was like, or what should I do? And then I sent another email like, hey, I wanted to know if you received my portfolio. And they answered right away. I was like, yeah, we got it. We're interested. We love it. And I was like, oh my God. So I almost fell off my chair when I read that email. I was like, oh my God. And Carlos, my husband, he was like so excited. And because I was screaming, and he was like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, the answer. And so it was really, really exciting. So,
well, it sounds like you did your research and you knew which company you loved that would fit your portfolio well. And it's so nice that worked out. So we're going to talk a little bit more about all of the fabric later in the podcast. Right now, let's take a little step out of the story and tell us where you're living now and who are your loved ones that you share your world with every day.
Yeah, I live in Mexico City. I have been living here almost for 20 years now. And I live with my husband that we have been married. We're going to be 15 years this summer. And we have 2 young children. My oldest one, she's 9. And Carlitos, he's 7. He just turned 7.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's dive back into design because I like talking about design with all of my guests. So, with regards to fabric design, when you see something in the world that sparks an idea for you, how do you capture it? Like, do you sketch in sketchbooks? Do you do everything digitally? Do you paint something? How do you get your designs ready for them to be printed on fabric?
Like I take a lot of pictures. Like when I saw like a beautiful flower, my phone is full of pictures. Like when we travel, I'm taking pictures all the time. And then when I start a collection, I sketch. Like I do everything on pencil first, and then from pencil, I send it to Procreate. Like it's actually the other day, my husband was because right now I'm working in another collection, so he was like, "You could do that straight on the iPad." Because I redrew everything
Yeah.
what I do on paper. But for me, I don't know. I bought there's like a paper light that you can put on your iPad, and it feels different when you draw. But I don't know. It's for me having the paper and being able to cut it, because I like also to cut it and to try to see how the pattern works. So for me, that is like basics. I always have to at least do a sketch on paper, and then I retrace everything on my iPad. And from there, most of the time, sometimes I leave it on Procreate, but most of the time I work in Illustrator.
Yeah. And you have
Mhm.
such a pretty color palette. So, where do you pull your color inspiration from?
I think, well, for me, color is, I don't know, it brings you lots of joy, and it's funny. Like I think I wear always like very neutral colors, but my favorite color is pink. Like at the end, I love like I'm very drawn to different, yeah, to this color. Like
Yeah.
and also I think, yeah, like being Mexican, like we're so used to having color, and we're not afraid of it. Like you can see buildings that are very colorful, and so I don't know. I think because I grew up with color all around, it's for me it's very instinctive, and I just love it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, so let's get into the business a little bit more. So, your business is called Pretty Please. So, how did you come up with the name?
Hey, the name, it was so funny because I didn't have a name. I was thinking of just putting my name, but because it started first like it's doing quilted accessories. It was not that I was a designer, so I was just sewing things and to sell. It was more like that. So I didn't want to put my name. And so I was playing with words, and I was like, "Ah, I need a name, a pretty name." And I'm like, "Pretty please." And yeah, I started from there. This phrase, please, pretty please, give me like a pretty name, you know?
Yeah.
So we just started from there. It doesn't have like a profound meaning, but I love the word and how it sounds when you say, "Oh, pretty please." And now also my daughter, when she wants something, "Mommy, pretty please." So yeah, it started
It's
from,
very cute, and
yeah,
it has alliteration in it, is the two P's. And so, in a
yeah.
nutshell, what do you bring to the world with your business?
Well, right now, well, what I'm trying to do with my business is through my fabric. Like I want to have meaningful collections. Like every time I do a collection, it comes from memories from something that I lived, like with my family. Like I want them to have a meaning behind, not just beautiful flowers. Like so I try always to tell a story through my fabric. So I think that's the thing that I want to leave, like my fabric, to bring joy to people while they sew with it. And the other day, I got a message, a comment, on one of my posts, and it's really, for me, that was so nice. Like she wrote to me that this lady, that she's doing a quilt with my fabric, and it's my quilt pattern. And she put, like, every time I'm sewing with your fabric, it makes me very happy, or something like that. That it brings her joy, like
Yeah.
because of all the pretty fabric. So for me that was it. Like I want people, because in quilting we take so much time, and we put all our love and heart in creating something. So that the fabric also needs to be not just pretty, but
Yeah.
for people to know that the designers, we pour our hearts into the collection. So
Yeah, it is
I
so,
hope.
it's true. It's so fun to make a quilt when you absolutely love the fabric. And I've even
Yeah.
been at retreats where a quilter is making something for their daughter or a family member, and they're saying, "Oh, I just don't like this fabric, but it's their favorite. But it's so hard to make the quilt when it's not fabric I love, you know?" But so
Yeah.
I can just see the joy in making a quilt with fabric that you love, and you're certainly providing that to the world. So that's really fun. Now
Thank you.
let's get into a quote that you love. These are words you love for young designers. So here's the quote, and then you can tell me, what does it mean to you? So the quote is, "Follow your dreams and pursue it." So why is that so meaningful to you?
For me, I want to, like, I see like young people now, like young kids now. They're worried about where they're gonna study, and if they have to choose like forever, that it has to
Yeah.
be like a solid decision. And I think there's that you can pursue your dreams. It doesn't matter the age. If you're 18 or you're 56 or you're 60, like go for it. Like for me, doing like becoming a fabric designer, it was a dream that I could never imagine before. And also because I live in Mexico City, like quilting here, it's a very small hobby. Like people, like my friends, they're like, "Oh, your little hobby is so cute," but nobody knows what quilting
Yeah.
is. Like,
Yeah.
like we're trying to like to Mexico get to know a little bit more, but it's a small community. So so for me, becoming a fabric designer, but for the quilting industry was huge. Like nobody knew me. So yeah, I would say that, like, pursue your dreams, no matter if how you just have to do the work, and yeah, and pursue it. And it doesn't matter if they don't say yes, you can do something else. But like believe in yourself. I think
Yeah.
that would be it.
Well, I love the little nugget that you said there about, and it doesn't have to be forever. Like if there's a young
Exactly.
20-year-old who's afraid to try anything because they think it's going to have to be forever, well, that's the age, right? When you should be trying everything. Even in our 40s, 50s, 60s, try what you love and do more of that. I love that message. It's such a good thing for you to be bringing to the table. So let's talk about the website now, because you have a beautiful website at stephanieorganes.com, and Organes is Organes. So
Mhm.
it is so lovely and bright and colorful, and there's a lot of fun things there. So what will we find if we go to your website?
Okay, if you go to my website, you can find I have lots of free patterns. Like for every collection, I try to have like a free pattern that goes with it, so you can download it. You just need to subscribe, and also I have patterns that are like for sale that you can see also, and you can see my collections and know a little bit about me, and like
Yeah,
that's basically it.
all kinds of fun stuff there. And that's where you can also link to Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
And you can see the collections of all the fabrics. And of course, you can subscribe. So the next fabric collection's coming out. If you're subscribed to the email list, then you'll be the first to hear about it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And do you have a newsletter as well that you write?
I'm starting my newsletter like soon, and I
Coming
promise not to
soon.
send lots of
Coming
emails.
soon, yeah.
Yes, but it's good, yeah, to let people know when there are new patterns, free patterns, and new collections. And
Yeah.
yes.
So coming soon. So make sure you subscribe for that. And you have done some wonderful collaborations. So let's talk about a few of those. Let's
Yeah.
start with Sally Tomato. What have you done with them?
It's Sally Tomato. It's been so much fun. They invited me, Jessica Barrera from Sally Tomato. They have this club that is called the Core Club. So they have a membership that they sell. They send you one piece of printed cork and one solid
Yeah.
to match, and they send you a pattern to create a bag, and it runs through all the year. So they invited me to be one of the designers, like for the next 6 months. So each month they're getting one of my designs. Like we selected like most of my bestsellers in fabric. So now they printed it on cork. So it's amazing to see it. Like for me, it was my first time sewing with cork, and it's been really fun and amazing also to see my designs on cork. Like the texture is so gorgeous. It's so flexible. And also the colors. I love how the colors change in the cork.
Mhm.
Like it's because you have the natural beauty of the cork. Sometimes we have a color in the on the base, but others we leave out the natural color of cork. So it's it's so pretty.
Yeah.
And they're amazing to work with. So we have been having a blast, and yeah, they're super, super nice.
Yeah,
So if you want
sounds
to try cork, it's a good. And and her patterns are amazing because she
yeah.
has videos for every pattern.
Mm.
So it's, and she has, all the hardware and everything that goes with everything. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's a
fun.
nice touch.
Check them out.
That really is a nice touch to add the video to go with the pattern. I love that. Okay, so
Yeah.
you had some fun with Sally Tomato, and then you also did something with Renaissance ribbons. So tell me about that.
Yeah, that's brand new. We're just debuting our first collection. Well, my first collection with them doing ribbon. I have a new collection called Sunset Cottage that it's coming out now in the summer. So I did with Renaissance ribbons, ribbons that coordinate with the collection. So their colors are so pretty, the texture. So yeah, it's fun. And also because I love doing also all kinds of bags and things. So adding ribbon, it's so pretty. Like it's so it's been
And did I
fun.
read somewhere online that you did something fun with Patterns by Annie as well?
Yes, well, Patterns by Annie did some of their patterns. They did like the samples with my fabric, and it was amazing. And I was at her YouTube channel as well, so we had a great conversation. And Annie is the best. She's the sweetest.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love
So for
her.
my first collection, like she did so many bags with it. So yeah.
Okay, so if you're listening right now and you're wondering, geez, I seem to remember Brandy talking to Annie Unrein of By Annie. So her podcast episode was way back in December 2024. And if you want to listen to her wonderful story, and I'm telling you, it's a good one, that was episode 188. So go back and have a listen to that. So Stephanie, the collaborations were so much fun. You also belong to a guild in Mexico, and this is really important to you. So tell me about Mexico Modern Quilt Guild.
Yes, my guild is, we are a group of, I think, 22, 25 women. And my guild for me has been like very supportive, like very, how do you say it, like very important in my journey in quilting and as in my career, because they have been like super, always supportive. I have learned so much from them. Like they are, these are women that they're my friends and they have been sewing for so long, and I learn every day from them like so much. Like they're amazing. And we are like a very good group, and we have a retreat every year, and we get together once a month. And yes, and we are trying to get like our name out there, like like every year we do a quilt for QuiltCon, and some of my friends from my guild, they have taught or given lectures QuiltCon. So I'm very proud of them. Like
wow, that is a big adventure to be doing a quilt for QuiltCon every year with your guild.
Yes,
it's a lot of work and organizing and everything like that. So if you're listening right now and you are anywhere in the vicinity of Mexico City and you want to be part of the Mexico Modern Quilt Guild, you can reach out to you probably, Stephanie, hey, on your website or something like that if you want to find out more.
Yes, and you can also go to we have an Instagram, the Mexico Modern Quilt Guild, so you can reach out and send us a message there.
Oh, that's so great. So Mexico Modern Quilt Guild on Instagram. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about some of the travel you've done, and mostly QuiltCon, right? You mentioned that you've been to QuiltCon the one time, but then you went back again in Phoenix and you had your first portfolio there as well. So tell us about that story.
The first QuiltCon after the pandemic was Phoenix. So that's when I had my portfolio with me, and we still were all wearing masks and everything. I went there. I already knew I already had my friends from my guild, no? So I remember that QuiltCon like being very small. Not all the companies attended because it was the first one. We were pretty scared still from COVID.
Yeah.
And yeah, so in that QuiltCon, that was also like like a highlight for me because while I was bringing my portfolio and showing my collections to people, that's when I met Michelle from Oliso, Michelle that we all loved, and she was super encouraging. I showed her my portfolio, and she was like, "Oh, this is so gorgeous!" And then she was like, "You have to meet my friend Joe." And I was like, "Okay, who's Joe?" And Joe Packham, she was the editor and the owner of What Women Create.
Yeah.
So she introduced me to her, and she was like, "Oh, I want to feature you on my magazine." And also that was really when the article came out. That feature, that's when I signed up with Andover. So it was gorgeous, and we took so many pictures, and it was amazing that to be in her magazine. They were like Joe and Michelle, like I'm really grateful for them because they were like super encouraging me. I knew nobody, and they were like, "No, go for it. This is amazing." And
Yeah,
so,
Michelle is one of my closest friends, and she is a super connector. She loves people,
yes.
and oftentimes people call her Velcro because people stick to her and they don't want to let go. And also Joe. Joe is one of the most prolific magazine editors and creators I've ever known. She just has this talent for helping people shine and lifting them up. So I love both of those people. So it's so exciting that meeting them at QuiltCon was kind of like a part of the start of your career in designing fabric, right?
Yeah, totally. I remember when I was signing with Andover that I told them, there's gonna be a feature coming out, and they were so excited, and the magazine was so beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your teaching and speaking. You have a trunk show, right? So you have some quilts that you can show and talk about. But what do you like to teach when it comes to quilting?
Yeah, that's something that I want to do more. Like I have been very focused on doing the fabric design and preparing and everything, but that's something that I want to start doing more, like teaching some of my quilts. Like I recently gave a class with one of my bags. Like I really love doing bags.
Yeah.
So I taught to my guild one of my bags, and it was amazing because this last QuiltCon, some of my friends, they were all wearing the bag. So it was, I mean, everybody was doing the same, having the same one, and it was so much fun. Yeah. So that's something that I want to do more. Teaching like this. There are also small projects that you can take home. Yeah, and doing trunk shows with my collections.
Yeah, so fun. And I'm sure that you could probably teach any of the patterns that you have on your website. So if program, guild program organizers are listening right now and they want to hire you, they can reach out to you through your website, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, anytime.
So is there a milestone or achievement in your quilting career that's been really memorable for you?
Yes, I think my biggest achievement was my first fabric collection, like seeing my it's called Wandering. My Wandering collection, see it like outside in the world. That was for me, like my biggest accomplishment.
Yeah. Can you tell us all about it? Just what kind of fabrics were in it? What kind of color scheme did you use?
That collection, well, it was like a combination of different florals, geometrics, and like all the story behind it was that, like the dream of becoming a fabric design, and that was the name, like wondering what it could be. And people really love it. Like I think it resonated with a lot of people, and also I got invited by Misty from Missouri Star. She loved the collection, and she invited me over to because for every collection we have a free quilt. So I have my quilt for that collection was also called Wandering, the Wandering quilt. So she invited me to teach that quilt at Missouri Star. So I think that collection like really resonated with a lot of people, and it was so fun to be there, to go to Missouri Star.
Oh, that's so great.
So you presented.
So you got to feature the collection, you got to teach. So what was it like walking onto the set? Like, was it like a video set where you walked on and you were teaching in front of all the cameras and everything?
Yeah, they have, they're amazing at Missouri Star. And also they are super nice. They make you feel welcome. They're the best. They're really, really nice. They have this beautiful set. I mean, I don't remember how many people, around 3, 4, but they have the studio so pretty, everything. Yeah, with the cameras, and we were filming. And also Misty, she was super nice because at the first I was a little bit nervous, and I was like, oh my God, she said, no, we can redo. And so, yeah, and also when you're cutting and you know that you are being filmed, I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing it right. And the ruler just shift, and she's like, don't worry, we'll do it again.
Yeah.
But it was super fun. And we got to teach the quilt, feature the collection, and also we did we did like a whole tour of the stores.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I don't remember. Now they have more stores, but they were like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but tons of stores. So we were walking around. They showed me everything. And then also we did this video tutorial that you can see it in YouTube if you want to make the quilt, the wandering quilt. And we did another video for Day of the Dead, featuring also the collection. So that was, for me, that was so, it was a dream, because I use my collection. I have this idea of doing a table runner, and I like to do applique, like paper, like the paper cut method that we used to do when we were kids, to doing snowflakes. So I like to do paper, like applique like that.
So you mentioned also to me earlier that Misty at Missouri Star was asking you about Day of the Dead, because that holiday, or that celebration, was coming soon. So if someone's listening right now and they don't know much about Day of the Dead, can you tell us how the tradition works?
Yes. Day of the Dead is like a very important celebration. It's part of our heritage here in Mexico. It's a holiday that we celebrate the lives of the people, of our loved ones that passed away. But we celebrate them with joy. It's like a very festive celebration. It's not that you mourn with sadness, What we do is, usually we do an altar that is called ofrenda, and we decorate with things that people used to like. Like usually you put a frame with a picture, I don't know, of the person that that you're honoring, and you can put flowers, and there are different elements that are very traditional of the celebration. And one of them is, like sugar skulls. You light candles, and it's something that you do to celebrate.
Yeah.
And another like really traditional is called papel picado. That it's papel picado. It's in English is paper, like cut paper. Okay. So it is like this, like when you do like the snowflakes that you cut it is the same, but it's maybe we have different shapes. But you cut it, and when you open it, you have this beautiful different shapes that come out.
Yeah.
And so when Misty asked me about Day of the Dead, I was like, okay, let's do a table runner for Day of the Dead. And we used my Wandering collection, and I showed them how to do an applique, doing papel picado, but on fabric. So for me, it was amazing to get to share a little bit about our culture, and to do a quilting project about it. So that's also, we can send them the link so people can come watch that tutorial. Yeah. And it was really fun to make.
Definitely. You'll find that video on Missouri Star YouTube, and you can just search Stephanie Organis or something like that, and you'll find it. But we'll put a link in the show notes as well. Yeah. It's so nice that they featured that. And also, I'm guessing that holiday probably happens in the fall for you, because I've been to Houston and seen these beautiful big sculptures of Day of the Dead sometimes in Houston. So you can tell that a celebration is going on.
Yeah, exactly. It's always at the beginning of November, the 1st and 2nd of November. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in your creative practice, Stephanie, what brings you joy?
What brings me joy? I think that time for myself. Like, I think every time when I'm feeling that I'm stuck, like when you lose like your sojo or your, I think the only time it's when you start working. So that really brings me joy. When I push myself to do the work, that's when really like creativity starts flowing. I mean, you don't have to be you don't have to wait to inspiration to strike. You have to really work to get it. So that really brings me joy when I push myself to work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so right now we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk all about Stephanie's studio, more of her fabric designs, of course, and what's coming soon. We'll be right back. Quilter on Fire is now on YouTube, and it's packed with brand new weekly content. What's waiting for you? Fun and easy tutorials to follow, exciting unboxings, exclusive interviews with top quilters and artists at the biggest quilt shows like Houston and QuiltCon. If you love Quilter on Fire on the podcast, you're going to be blown away by our YouTube channel. Don't miss out. Subscribe to Quilter on Fire on YouTube today. Let's ignite your passion for quilting. And we are back with Stephanie Organes. Stephanie, can you tell us about your studio? Where do you create?
Yes, my studio is here at my house. My house has like it's in the third floor. And so it's perfect because I have windows on both sides and lots of light.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to share it with my husband because he's doing lots of home office lately. So sometimes like, okay, it's time for me to go to the studio. And he's like, okay. But I love that he works here and he never turns off his camera. He has all my quilts on the back, like just like this. And once they ask him, like, Carlos, are you a quilter? And he's like, no, that's my wife's. She's a designer. So yeah.
He's proud of you.
yeah, he is.
Okay, what's the best thing you do for your own self-care?
I think taking time for myself to get a good book, to read, have time for coffee, and also having time with my friends. Yeah. Like I really enjoy when I go for breakfast with my friends. That's really good. And also with my family. Like the weekends. The weekends, I think that's my reset, being with my kids and my husband. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds so good. Okay, so this is what we've been waiting for. We're going to get into the fabric design and we're going to talk about all of your collections. So we've already mentioned the Wondering collection in a big way and how you got featured with Missouri Star. But let's talk about all the other ones too. I want to start with Enchanted Bloom. So this one I love because it's like mint and raspberry diamonds with big feathers and florals and reds and purples. So what's the story behind that collection?
Yeah, Enchanted Bloom was a collection inspired by a trip that we did to London. And it was during like the winter time. I mean, it was not that there was lots of flowers, but for me, I don't know, there's something like magical about the city, like seeing all the lights in the streets. And I wanted to be that, like something like an enchanted garden. So that's how it started. Like it came out to be Enchanted Bloom, and it has swans and the feathers from the swans and florals. You're gonna see florals all around my work. Like that's what I really loved.
Yeah, and your next collection was a series of blenders. So tell us about that one.
Yeah, I wanted to create like this color box for quilters, like. So I started, that collection was called Color Me Pretty, but that's my Color Me series that I wanted to have like a collection of blenders, and they're all florals as well, but they're tone on tone, like really low volume and all florals. So Color Me Pretty was a collection of, I believe, 20 prints in 20 different colors of like the spectrum of the rainbow. Yeah. And I really love it because it goes with everything. And most of my collections, they blend all together. Yeah. Like you can use Wondering with Color Me Pretty and Enchanted Bloom. So
yeah, I love that. And I love Color Me Whisper too, which was the next one, because it kind of reads like solids, but it's really soft florals. It just it's really, really nice. So I love
that's dustier.
Yeah, so there was Color Me Pretty, Color Me Whisper. Is there more coming in that Color Me series?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Not yet, but the second one was Color Me Whisper. That is also the same color, not the same colors, but exactly to complement the first one. And those are like more dustier colors. You have like olive greens that I didn't have before, mochas, periwinkles, like different colors to complement the first one. Yeah.
Okay. And there's one called Memories Unfold. And I love this one because it has some geometrics. It has houses, but it also still has the flowers and like these bursts of dandelions. So what's the story behind that collection?
Yeah. Memories Unfold, that's another one. Well, I love them all. But Memories Unfold was a collection inspired by a trip that I did with my family. We did a road trip all along the East Coast. We went from New York all the way to Rhode Island, Martha's Vineyard, all that area, like Plymouth. So all the inspiration comes from there. From Martha's Vineyard, all the flowers. There's this little cabin that it's very iconic in Rockport. So I have like small houses. That print comes from that, and that's a beautiful collection. I love it. It has also dandelions. And I have a video where my daughter, she's blowing one dandelion. And I was like, oh, I want to put that on a print. So I try always to, you can see on my Instagram, I always try to make a video every time like I have a new collection. I try to post a video with all the inspiration that comes behind. So you can see like snippets of the video. Also, I have one that were all the pebble rocks, and that my kids were running around, and so it's fun to see how one print comes. From the inspiration comes from.
Yeah, and I love those dandelion bursts because they're very quilterly in that, like, they're so tiny, they almost look like a very geometric little quilty star that is exploding. But they're so tiny that they kind of look like dandelions, right?
Exactly. So, that was the intention. It's a star, and it like flies away.
Yeah, so cool. Okay, and tell us about Petals and Stitches. What's the story behind that one?
Petals and Stitches, that's another collection. I love all of them. But that was also like from the everyday flowers that you find like in the little corners, not like the very protagonic or like really. So it's like the everyday flowers, and also this one has how you call it, like a cheater print that has like all the different prints on it. This one has lots of blenders. So I mean, this collection has been really, really fun because it's between like a major collection, but it also has lots of blenders. So you have between like both. And I love the colors. This one has more blues as well, terracotta and orange colors. Also pinks. I mean, you see it always pink in my collections. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I love the quilted elements coming into this one because you use that cheater fabric. That's something you could use in a project and have fun stitching, practice your quilting, that kind of thing. So it's got a nice story behind it. And it's nice to see that quilting elements come in. Yeah. So we mentioned Color Me Whisper. What's your latest collection that's coming out this summer?
I have another collection that is coming out that is called Sunset Cottage. And this collection was inspired by another trip. I think like most of my collections are from my travels with my family. Yeah. We went to Lake Elizabeth. We did a trip from Chicago. We stayed in Lake Elizabeth in a beautiful cottage near right there in the lake. So all the inspiration comes from there. You're going to see like the water lilies and how you call them, like the swirls in the water, the sunflowers. Yeah, all the elements that I got to see there, like dream catchers that were there in the house. It's a beautiful collection. The color are also a little bit more toned down. Yeah, I think it's so feminine. It has lots of. You see like all this, because we did lots of hikings around the lake. And so there were these old wildflowers, like, but really tiny. So I have prints that have like really, really small details. And you can see like all the, like all the small flowers. And I'm so excited about this collection.
Yeah, I got to see it for the first time at H&H, and I really loved it. It has these dusty blues and purples and pinks, and you're also incorporating those hexagon prints this time too, sort of with all the colors, and it ties it all together really nicely with quilting and everything. So how did it go at H&H? Was it fun to launch that?
Yeah, it was really fun. I had my first samples there, and I got to show the collection. I brought some projects made with it, also with the ribbons from Renaissance Ribbons, and people love it. I think it's going to be a good collection. Yeah, it's so pretty and feminine, and I think there's so many elements that can work, for borders, for binding, also for fussy cutting. So I'm excited about it, and people really, really like it when I show it at H&H.
Yeah. Okay, so if people are listening right now and they're thinking, oh my goodness, I want to see all these collections. I definitely want to see the latest collection. They can go to andoverfabrics.com. So they can go find all the collections there. Just click on your name. You can go click on designers, go to Stephanie Organis, and you'll see all the collections that you've had with them. And you can always ask for it at your local quilt shop, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can totally ask if they have the collection. If not, they can order in. And yeah, I would. And I always love when people show me the projects that they create. So don't hesitate. Like we designers, we always love to see, because we see our collection in a certain way, and it's amazing to see the creativity of quilters.
Yeah.
When they send me a quilt, I was like, I'm blown away of the creativity. I'm like, wow, I could never have thought about to put in, I don't know, this fabric, but this one, it's
Yeah.
so yeah, please always tag us and send us what you create. I love to see that.
Okay, that sounds good. So Sunset Cottage comes out this summer at local quilt shops. So can you tell us about what's coming soon, or is it a big secret?
Right now I'm working on it. So yeah, I cannot tell you a lot, but I'm working on two collections. And one of it, I'm excited about it because it's a collection that I already kind of have it on, it's coming out from the dust. We're building again on it. So I'm excited about it. So yeah, I hope I can share it soon.
Yeah, so that's another good reason to follow along on Instagram so that you can see what's coming soon. You'll be announcing it there first, I'm sure. Okay,
yes,
so that's really fun. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now it's time for the lightning round robin. It's a series of rapid fire questions and it's super fun. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your favorite? What's your favorite tool or notion?
My favorite tool. Right now, I'm loving my thread snips from LVH.
Oh yeah,
I got once at QuilCon, and I just love them. Like they're super sharp. They work as a how you say, like
a seam ripper, or
like a seam ripper. And recently at H&H, Roy, who's amazing, he gave me new ones, and he engraved my name on it. Well, we put it Pretty Please. So he's the best. So I really enjoy. That's my best notion.
I got one of those pairs too. I went over and they engraved Quilter on Fire on mine, and I'll be doing some fun stuff with them coming up at Quilt Canada. So I'm not sure if this episode might air after that, but I'll be spending some time in their booth at Quilt Canada to do some promotions with them. So that will be so much fun. I love that company.
Yeah, me too. They're super, super nice.
Yeah. So what triggers inspiration for you?
I think for me, inspiration comes from everywhere. Like it could be one day with my kids, also while traveling. I think that also recharges me, and it brings lots of new creative ideas. So yeah, I think it comes from different places, and those memories are the ones that translate into fabric for me.
Yeah. How many UFOs do you have going on at once in your studio?
I try not to have many. Like I when I'm doing like one project in particular, like for a collection, I try to do one at a time, like one quilt. Maybe I have two UFOs that are taking me longer, like English paper piecing. I love it, but I realize I'm a slow stitcher. So those are projects that I always have in the back, and I try to take back. But yeah.
Okay. Do you do any kind of annual creative escape?
Yes, I think my creative escape are always QuilCon. I try not to miss it. I go every year because that really, and now that I went to H&H, I think that's going to be on my list as well.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
And with my guild, we always have a retreat every year. That's also another one. My holiday, like we always have a summer trip, my husband and my kids. So that for me is my go-to every year to like reset and yeah.
Okay. What's a skill you'd still love to learn?
I think I would love to learn sewing garments. Like I did I've done quilt coats with my fabric, but that's the most that I've done on like sewing garments. So I think that's something that I would love to learn.
Yeah, me too. Okay, has there been a mentor who's really influenced you along your journey?
Yes, I think I cannot mention just one. I mean, I have so many along my journey, like my friends from my guild. They are all been different mentors along my, I think, most of my friends in my guild, they're great mentors for me.
Yeah, it's so nice to be surrounded by that circle of friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any favorite collections of any kind in your home?
Yeah, the only thing I collect is mugs. Every time I travel, I buy different mugs and teacups. I think and most of them they're pink.
Do you keep them in one
Very
cupboard
feminine.
somewhere, or do you display them somewhere, or keep them in the cupboard?
No, I in the cupboard in the kitchen because I
Yeah.
use them all the time. So it's not that I use them. And if they break, they break, but I use them.
Okay, what's your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment, I think it's the dream of becoming a fabric designer. That's
Yeah, I could see how creating your first collection and continuing on coming up with these beautiful designs, collection after collection, could be a big milestone for you. So thank you for braving the lightning round, Robin. That was really fun. So I've mentioned your website at stephanieorganis.com, where we can find all the things that we've talked about today. But where's the best place for us to connect with you on social media?
That would be Instagram. You can find me at prettyplease.mx. Or if you just look for Stephanie Organis, it also comes up. I am also at Facebook. I mean, I'm not that very active in Facebook, but I still I post everything there. Yeah. But Instagram for sure.
Okay, so prettyplease.mx, and is that for Mexico?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Because Pretty Please was already taken. So I was like, okay, but the MX.
Easy to remember, prettyplease.mx on Instagram and Facebook. So you can find her on your favorite social media. Now, as we wrap up, Stephanie, what do you want people to take away most from our conversation today?
Well, I think what I mentioned before is pursue your dreams. Never give up. Yeah. Keep on working, even when you aren't motivated. Don't wait for motivation to strike because it will never strike. So you have to work until and that will make you move on. So pursue your dreams and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
That is such good advice. You don't have to sit there and wait for motivation to strike. If you put your head down and do the work, the motivation will come, right? Oh, exactly. I love it. What a great way to end the show. So, Stephanie, I have loved having you on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you, Randy. It's lovely seeing you, talking to you. Finally, we got time to chat. And I see you soon in the next show, I hope.
Yep, I can't wait to see you again soon. Thank you so much. So that was my show with Stephanie Organis. And something that really delighted me today in this podcast episode is how she's telling her story through fabric design, staying true to her own style and culture along the way. I love all of these collections and the fabrics. That one that reads like solids, but it's really soft florals and Color Me Whisper, just so good. She has a really great knack for, designing fabric and putting out these beautiful collections. And one thing to watch for coming up is her latest collection with Andover called Sunset Cottage. You'll see it in stores this summer, so go follow prettyplease.mx on Instagram to find out more about her story and see you when the next collection's coming out. And today, I loved sharing the story of Stephanie Organis with you. Just give me 30 seconds of your time. 2 things I want to say. The first thing is a huge thank you for listening and tuning into the show week after week. It means the world to me and my team, which consists of James, my podcast producer, DG, my virtual assistant, and Luna, my chocolate lab. This podcast really is a dream that started with the notion of surrounding myself with people who lift me up, but it has turned into so much more than that. We absolutely couldn't have imagined becoming an award-winning podcast. But secondly, we feel like we're only just getting started. And if you enjoy what we do here, please go to your favorite social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or even YouTube, and follow Quilter on Fire. It's one small thing you can do for free to support this show. And here's a promise I'm going to make to you. I'll do everything in my power to make this the best show I can, just for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the Quilter on Fire podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow us on Apple Podcasts. Your support helps me reach more quilters just like you, striving for that perfect quilty lifestyle. Click on those 5 stars and share what you loved most about today's episode. Don't forget to hit the follow button if you haven't already. With new episodes dropping weekly, you won't want to miss out on the inspiring stories and tips we have in store. Until next time, dream big and have fun in the studio with the Quilter on Fire.